here we are. Happy anniversary to the Honda Rincon. 20 years ago, Honda was introducing their greatest ATV ever created until that point. And it's still one of the top ATVs to this day, which is the Honda Rincon. September of 2002 is when Honda released the 2003 lineup, and this was the biggest thing they had ever created and had many a first at the time. And I'm going to cover a few things why I still think this ATV is one of the greatest machines on the market today, 20 years later. So let's get into it. I've got 3 Honda Rincons, 650s. They did up the displacement in 2006 to 680 and fuel injected it. But these are the original first versions, which are the 650 carbureted single cylinders. I've got 3 of them here. The red and the green one are both 2003s, and then the black one here is a 2005, which was the last year they made the 650 in a carbureted version. I've owned this green one now for close to 20 years. I got this in 2003. It is a 2003, and I've had nothing but awesome luck with it. And I wouldn't say luck with a Honda. Honda's built for dependability and reliability, and I've put this machine through so much that I can say, you know, a Polaris or a Can-Am or even a Yamaha or Suzuki or Kawasaki would not hold up like this machine did. One of the things that makes these machines so unique, and they've even incorporated that into their UTVs, is it does not use a CVT transmission. This uses like an automobile type transmission with a torque converter, and actually has solid gears. And that's one thing that really makes this more reliable and more dependable over time, is you do not have to worry about a belt slipping or braking or changing it on the trails. When you're driving at the time, a $6,000 brand new machine, you don't want a $100 belt to blow and you're stranded or dealing with fixing that out in the woods. So that was a first for Honda. The other thing that was a first for Honda at the time was it used an independent rear suspension. Back in 2002 and 2003, there were very few machines on the market that had an independent rear suspension. The Suzuki King Quads were one of the first to use an independent rear suspension, and then the Yamaha Grizzly ended up going to that. The first versions of the Grizzly were a single axle in the back. The nice thing about the independent rear suspension is it makes for such a better ride. If you start getting bumps on one side, that tire is that wheel is gonna move up and down instead of the whole rear end, compared to having a single axle. So that was a first for Honda. And then, like I mentioned, the transmission was a huge first for Honda. It used a torque converter, and then it had 3 forward speeds, and it simply can run in an automatic mode, or you can actually do a manual shift mode, which is kind of cool. This little switch right here, there's auto, and then there's ESP, which is electronic shift. And when you stick it into ESP, you have the ability of pushing the up and down arrows over here to shift up and down and keep it in your preferred gear. So that was very unique to have those options. another really nice thing about this machine, and a lot of the machines back in the early 2000s and prior had the ability to pull start. Most machines nowadays, being that they're fuel injected, you need to have a battery to be able to charge the electronic system and the fuel injection system. But this machine actually has a pull starter, and there's been many a times where my battery's been dead. I'm out ice fishing or something like that where it's been very cold and your battery's weak, and you need to be able to pull start the machine. And I think that's a huge advantage compared to some of these machines nowadays that you're totally dependent on a battery. The other nice thing about this machine is it uses about a little over a 3-quart oil system, and the oil is also the transmission oil. And I think over time it's something that just helps with the reliability, because a lot of the other machines out in the market had a much lower oil capacity. But like I said, I've had nothing but amazing luck with this machine. One of the only things that I've had to replace are the CV boots. You can see this one here is torn, and then but other than that, that's really about one of the only maintenance items that I've seen. These all three have a little bit different tires. I just put new tires on my original Rincon. These are more road tires. Here where I am in Wisconsin, trails are majority paved, and then a lot of sand. This here's got the mud lights on it. Great tire for off-roading and sand, but not so great on the roads. And then this machine came with these tires when I bought it a little over a year ago. So these are the two additions to the fleet, and this is the machine that I've had for 20 years now. And we're approaching 7,000 miles, which is not a lot of miles for a 20-year-old machine, but they're hard miles. A lot of pulling, a lot of heavy trailer loads. Been actually ridden a lot around my property with 4 people on this. My wife, daughter on the back, my son sitting in front of me. I don't recommend doing that. Can't really do that on the trails legally, but riding around my property, this is a way that the 4 of us at the time could get around. That's essentially now why I have the Pioneer. This is much more comfortable for the family. I can seat 5 people in this machine very comfortably, and I don't have to worry about somebody sitting in front of me or accidents or anything like that. We can legally hit the trail. So I'm going to do a series of videos on these, probably test out the tires, show you some pros and cons with these machines, being, kind of go over the carburation system compared to the, having fuel injection, and just show you how these work. But this is an introduction to many videos, really showcasing the Rincon, being that this machine is celebrating its 20-year anniversary. So thanks for watching, and tune in for future videos regarding this. If you have any comments or suggestions on what you would like to see on this, see me go through different features, benefits, different obstacles, or whatever you can think of, feel free to leave that in the comment, and I'd be happy to try to address that. Thank you.